Alright, so 2 days ago, I brought you guys a video pretty much praising the Blessed song and talking about how fantastic it was because it got an absolutely major buff. Well, now I am here today to go ahead and break some terrible news to you that it's been nerfed pretty much to the ground. And not only that, but there's also another thing that was nerfed with it just to sort of make Blessed song look good, which I don't really understand why they did this, but let's sort of get into this. So here we are inside of the FISCH Discord server in my not so favorite channel today, being the updates channel. As you can see right here, it says today at 1:45 p.m., which is technically not today for you guys because you're seeing this video the next day, but there was basically a huge issue going on with trading. That's been all sort of addressed, fixed, and honestly, fantastic news. I know that everybody was sort of reaching out to me about that stuff. I personally didn't have any information because I don't really handle any of the development stuff or pretty much know anything that's going on. So this portion right up here, at least what Noah posted, was great news. Now we get into the portion of what Nick said, and that is the changelog being sort of like the little hot fixes that they push out. A quick scan of this list will tell you that pretty much everything is fairly okay, except for one, which is this right here that says nerfed steady and blessed song enchant. Well guys, to pretty much say the least, this started up an absolute uproar throughout the entire community, and I don't really know if they ever plan on changing this, but in case you missed the entire buff, I'll go ahead and explain that as well for you. So when the update dropped, Blessed song had originally a 10% buff towards your progression speed. During the stream, I said this, and even afterwards when I made a video, I mentioned that it was pretty much useless and a complete waste of time on actually doing the entire quest because technically steady was better. So why would we even waste our time going after the Moby and trying to get the enchant? Fast forward a couple of hours, and then they pushed out a hotfix, made it from 10% to 50%, which of course was better than steady at the 25% that was. So it was a win-win situation. And then of course, I made the video showing you guys just how much money we were making, which was absolutely ridiculous, making 4 mil, sometimes even 5 mil per hour. It was a huge W for pretty much everyone. Now here I am completely offline for the rest of the day. I end up getting on at nighttime, roughly give or take about an hour or two after that whole entire thing was pushed out. Now if you take a look at the bottom down here, Blessed song is a 30%. That means that it took a 20% hit. But that's not even the worst part. The worst part is that you would probably think, well, I guess it's not really that worth it and we could just go for steady, considering it's really only a 5% increase. Well, my friends, as you guys saw, unfortunately, that is not the case because steady also took an unfortunate hit. So I actually have steady on my Tempest rod. I'm going to show you guys right there. If you notice, it is now no longer a 25%. It is a 15%. That means that in order to actually make the Blessed song half decent, they pretty much had to punish steady to make Blessed song good at a 30%. I'm going to be honest with you, I don't fully agree with it. But before I go ahead and pretty much spend all this time yapping about that and really giving my full opinion on it, I want to sort of run a quick little test the same exact way that we did it the other day, except I'm going to try something completely different. So besides the video that I made previously where I showed you guys the 50% of the Blessed song, and I told you guys just how insane it was to make money, I also made another video before that where I was talking about the Sea Overlord and just really how good of the results were that I was getting from using that. So I sort of want to go ahead and compare the two, but I will sort of add on one little thing that I was kind of just thinking about right now as I was in the process of making it over here. And it's pretty much like the lose-lose situation that the devs are in right now. Because on the flip side, you go ahead and keep it at 50%, and then you're going to have people that are going to have absurd amounts of money, somewhere in the hundreds of millions, which are pretty much like the hardcore players that play every single day for 5 to 6 hours a day. But then on the flip side, you also have the players that don't play every single day, maybe that only are able to play an hour or two, that can finally be able to have a couple million, maybe even 10 million cash to prepare for whatever the next major update is. So to a certain extent, I sort of understand why the devs did it, but at the same time, no matter what decision they would have made here, someone was going to be upset. Either way, let me go ahead and sell out my inventory here so that way I don't have anything inside of here. There we go, 13.7K. And the way we're going to handle this is quite simple. We're going to start off with the brand new 30% Bless Song enchant on the Ethereal Prism Rod, and then afterwards, we're gonna try using the Sea Overlord and see which one makes me the most amount of money. I'll be using no luck whatsoever throughout this entire process. So let's go ahead and start up a fresh daytime with no luck activated, since I think this one has technically some luck activated right now, one of those passive ones. There we go, perfect. No luck whatsoever. Let the time lapse begin. All right, and just like that, that is the end of the day cycle, which honestly, we caught a pretty good amount of fish there. Nothing really too crazy. If you remember, last time we actually caught a secret, but I didn't include that in the total, which I believe when we tested this last time, we made like 711K or something like that. So to be generous, we'll say 700K. With it being at 30% now, I would say that anywhere between like, I don't know, like 600, maybe 550K is reasonable. Anything less than that, and I feel like this is not going to be worth it. But let's see. We're going to go ahead and sell everything right now. What is the total going to be? 588K. So that's about reasonable, exactly what I more or less expected. On the higher end, I would imagine that it probably goes into the 600K, and on the lower end, I would imagine that it probably goes just shy under 550. But the million-dollar question now is this even worth it compared to something like Sea Overlord that increases the size of everything? For that, there's technically only one way to find out, so I will be right back. All right, so we've got ourselves Sea Overlord now, which means that we're going to do the same exact thing all over again and see if we can beat the 588K, or at the very least come close to it. I'm going to be honest, I don't think it's going to even come close, but it's definitely worth a try. And let's go ahead and sundial here. Hopefully we get ourselves a clean daytime run here. Perfect. There we go. Not a single buff going on. Let the time lapse begin. All right, so that is officially the end of the day cycle for the Sea Overlord. And honestly, man, we got a lot of big as well as giant stuff, but I guess I've been using Bless Song so long now that I just completely forgot how slow the process is without that sort of like progression bonus. Even just missing out on that 30% feels like a night and day difference, but we're about to find out right now whether it's actually worth it or not. Keep in mind, we need to beat 588K. So if we go ahead and sell our inventory right here, how much are we going to earn? 707K. What in the world? That's also not including the fact that I caught an exalted relic. A negative exalted relic, to be exact. I was definitely not expecting that. So this now pretty much completely confuses me on whether Bless Song is even worth it or not anymore at this point. I feel like, why not just go for Sea Overlord? And if maybe you're struggling on catching something, then you could just go steady. I mean, it's only 15% less. I mean, it's kind of a lot, I'm not gonna lie. Now, obviously, the tests that I do here are not really the most reliable, if I'm gonna be completely honest with you. But for the most part, in my own case, I would say that they've always helped me out, and they always make a pretty noticeable difference for me. So will I stick to Sea Overlord? More than likely. If I'm trying to make any money or anything like that, I'll usually resort to using Sea Overlord, at least for the time being. But I think for my daily use, I will probably try and get Bless Song again, just because, well, I'm notoriously known for being terrible at this. So I usually have a lot of incident going on, and a 30% boost to progression is exactly what I need to avoid any future incidents. I don't know, man. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think. Are you going to be using Sea Overlord? Are you still actively trying to go after Bless Song? And how upset are you about the entire nerf? I know that a lot of you are probably really, really mad. And honestly, I want to hear about it. give me the full detailed breakdown on why you guys are upset. But anyways, man, I think for the most part, we're going to end it off right here. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel. It is technically only Tuesday, which it feels like the week is going really, really slow, but it could just also have a lot to do with what this update was this Saturday. Maybe I'm just sort of prepared for what's next. Either way, man, we got a lot of things planned for the week. Got ourselves another banning video, as well as a closer look at what's coming towards the end of the month. But we'll talk about that at a later time. I will see you in the next one. Take care.